find it on the page. And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the set 6145. So welcome back for me. I was out a couple of weeks there. I missed the Canada Kitchen with the ladies. And last week we had some personal stuff going on, so I took a break. To my left, got my boy Speedy.
Wepa, ¿qué pasa?
And tonight's guest, Mr. George Anthony.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me, Sally. What's up, Speedy?
Recording artist, softball player. What else we gotta say about George Anthony?
Entrepreneur.
Well, got his line of gear out with jackets and everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I used to be the most handsome guy here, but now he's here, so we have to, take a step back. It's all good, though.
Nah, man, you good, Sally. Trust.
So what's going on, my brother? How just got back from Chicago, right?
Yeah, man.
How'd that go?
It was pretty good, man. I was invited to go out there to do the first ever freestyle versus my brother Julio Mena, also known as the Melody Monster. So when we went out there, we just had fun. What people don't understand is when the first thing they think is when they see verses, it's like, is this a fight? Are they gonna see who's better than who? But it was just a showcase of all the songs that we've done all throughout the years since the early '90s to now, and we just took 10 of the most, I guess, popular songs on our catalogs, and we performed it, and it was a great time.
That's awesome. Who organized this?
It was actually Julio Mena himself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with
the fix is in.
yeah. Nah, Julio Mena, he's always brainstorming and trying to do things with the genre, preserve it like I've been trying to do the past I would say 8 years. And he said, you know what, hip hop's doing verses. Let's do something for our genre. Freestyle's part of our culture. It's a Latino thing, and we can. I identify when it comes to freestyle. So he said, you know what, if hip-hop's doing it, let's do something to show camaraderie, to show that we can showcase our music as well, and have a fun night doing it.
That was different. I didn't realize you guys picked out your own music and did all that type of stuff. Eventually, I want to do a versus.
Of what? Wepa!
No,
I can say Wepa the loudest.
Yeah.
No,
you can host it. You can host it. I believe that.
No, I would love to go up against
a host off,
like one of the DJs, one of my good friend DJs, and
like your best friend Blazer.
Yeah, I would do a versus Blazer because Blazer has great knowledge of music.
He does,
and we would just be fun. Like I said, it'd be just fun.
Yeah,
it's something different. I think that's. We said Latino hip hop, right? You described it, I believe, as a freestyle.
Yeah. Yep. That's what they called it back in the days. Mm-hmm. That was before I even picked up a microphone.
Yeah, that was the original. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was called Latin hip hop because when Niobe first came out and all that, there wasn't a brand for it. When freestyle comes out, there wasn't a brand for it. So they branded it as Latin because hip hop was at its peak. That's when you had the LLs, the Slick Ricks, and all that.
And it's probably Latinos are not really welcomed in hip hop, as they say. Well,
yeah, but people don't realize Latinos were part of the creators of
for sure.
Hip hop.
Yeah,
we were there from the beginning.
Yeah, I think one of the Fat Boys was Puerto Rican, wasn't
yes,
okay.
Yes, actually he was. Then he became I forgot his name now. Prince Marky D.
There you go.
Was Puerto Rican, and the original Junebug from the Bronx was Puerto Rican also. That's one of the original legendary DJs.
Interviewed the photographer, right? The guy.
I'm
drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank.
Yes.
Anyway, shouts to Mr. A. The set 6145. We're holding it down. We're here with George Anthony and my guy Speedy. Shout out to everybody in the room. Vera. We thank you for tuning in, Nellyville.
My people.
Yes, George's people's here, heavy. Anthony Lopez, what's going on, my brother? Shout out to everybody in the room. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Juan the Twin. Juan the Twin is here. Listen, I want to ask you guys as twins, do you feel like when he's going through something or...
I'm not gonna lie. That's happened a few times, you know. And when I got sick 3 years ago, like severe COVID, my brother called me right away. He's like, "Yo, I'm not feeling good." And I was like, "Bro, you know what it is, man? I think I might have COVID." Yeah. And next thing you know, I'm in the hospital for 12 days. So he was kind of like feeling something, whether it was telepathically or just be my twin. But for the most part, sometimes I feel certain things and I'll give him a call, and he does have something going on, and vice versa. It's crazy.
Right. Okay.
It's a twin thing.
Do you have like your own language? No, and I asked you this because the girls that I used to work with, the twins Lulu and Lala from KTU, they used to have their own little language, and I'd be looking at them like, "What the hell you just say?" Or it's only between me and my sister.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think we have the same language, but we do use a lot of like terminologies and little slogans and sayings and stuff like that. But a language, nah.
Did you ever switch dates? Like, say your brother was gonna date a girl and he was running late. You pitched him.
A long time ago. Yeah, it is.
Like when we were 10 or 11.
He said he's the better looking twin though, so I don't know. We're gonna take
I agree. Even though we're identical.
Yeah.
Joe Gonzi was the photographer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so shout out to Joe and Mr. A for giving him that interview about 2 weeks ago. So, Jorge, let's start from the beginning. So you got into the music world. What started? What was the inspiration?
Yeah, so it was. I was a 15-year-old just watching people go up and down my block in the Chelsea projects, which is in Manhattan, in Chelsea, where Brooklyn teams have most recently gone and played there. But back in the late 80s, I was just too young to go to the Fun House, to Heartthrobs, and all the 1018s. I was just too young.
Was there.
But Speedy was there, right? Speedy has an afro. But I would just watch people getting their bombers and sheepskins robbed, and I was just watching from my window like, wow, thank God I'm not down there. But
a lot of people got robbed from those projects. Did you have anything to do with that, you and your guys?
It was crazy. But, that was a club, the Heartthrobs and Funhouse, where Little Louis Vega, Jelly Bean Benitez, and these guys were teenagers, the Cover Girls, Noel.
Madonna got to start there.
Everybody was in that club. I just couldn't get into it.
Madonna was a dancer.
I was too young.
Madonna was a dancer.
1018
and Heartthrobs.
That's right.
Was a dancer when inside of Heartthrobs.
Yeah. That's right.
I remember you guys always talking about it. I wasn't old enough.
Listen, are you guys calling me old like I'm the oldest one?
I said I wasn't old enough. I'm old too, right? But I wasn't old enough to get into those.
Listen, man, I'm proud. I'll be 55 in June. I'm proud.
All right, we'll give you a shot. God bless you. Still here, my boy.
So I would just like watch people go to these clubs, but at the same time, I would be outside, listening to "Show Me" by the Cover Girls, "Silent Morning," Noel, and Arabian Nights, Latin Rascals, and I just started. My brother's a DJ, so he would buy these records and vinyl records and all these record stores on 34th Street and 8th Avenue. And my brother was just collecting a lot of. We still have those vinyls, by the way, in our attic. Yeah, we have an attic full of vinyls, test pressing to. My brother was always in vinyl records. Anyway, long story short, my brother would take these songs and he would play them, and then we just fell in love with freestyle. And I know that Fever Records was on 28th Street at one time.
Yes.
And I would sneak up. And I will see the original Cover Girls, Angel, Margot, and
Caroline.
And Caroline.
Is that Fever Records with Sal?
Yes.
Sal.
Okay.
Yeah. I would go, and they had a rehearsal studio and a very young, and listen, Sal's a very attractive older man. You know what I'm saying? So imagine him back 30 years ago.
Right.
So I would go up there. He was like, who's this little guy? Like walking in here, and I would take like promo pictures of the Cover Girls, and I would bounce. I was just that crazy little kid. So I just
was Chelsea PJ boy.
Yeah, PJs, I'm out. Thank you, peace. But I would see them rehearsing and stuff like that. So until I was just like, I would study them. That's what I was doing. I was studying them until I got to the point that I was like, you know what? I think well, no, that's not true. We had a producer who lived downstairs from me. By the name of Willie Valentine.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he lived in 2A. I lived in 3A.
That's crazy.
And I was singing in my bathroom. I was like, without you, without you. I was like, ding, ding, ding. Who's singing? I was like, oh me. I'm sorry. I'll lower it. He's like, nah. I need you in the studio. And we recorded my first record. I Love You. Nelson Fast Forward Cruz. May he rest in peace.
Oh my God, Baby Don't Go.
Yeah, he took me to the studio. Mirror Image. We recorded I Love You, and I came out in Micmac in 1991. And then it was just like smooth sailing after that. I became a studio rat and recorded a bunch of songs.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir.
You started as a Latino artist.
The other way around.
It was the other way around because I know you recorded a couple of Spanish songs.
Yes, that was fast forward, like 1990, 91, I was doing freestyle.
I want to go back to 1991 because 1991. You're around my age, right?
I'm
So you're
50.
probably
I just turned 50 this
right.
year.
So you're in high school still?
No, when I graduated
And
high school in
was I-
86, Pop. We
No,
were at a high
he's
school.
When I
50.
was 50.
I'm 50.
No,
92 was.
I was in
91, 92 was.
I was
the
in
year.
high school.
Yeah.
I was in high school. I went to Rice High
Listen,
School
you
in
went to
Harlem.
high school for like 10 years, all right? The little yellow bus with the fucking helmet taking you
In
there.
1980, class of 1990.
Yeah.
I'm actually class of 1986.
Is that the principal? No, that's your classmate.
Do you go to Bishop Ford too or no?
No, I went to Eastern District.
Okay. My uncle was a teacher at Bishop Ford.
I went to. You talk about teachers. I still hang out with my old math teacher from Eastern District and the guy that taught me radio in Eastern District.
Oh wow.
Guys, if you're on Facebook on my page, please slide over to the Set 6145 page. We're live here. I see everybody in the room. A lot of people in the room flooded. George got them flooded in here.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you.
Love you guys.
They're showing you a lot of love. So 1991. Okay, so you had to be like 18, 19?
I was 18,
18,
around
right.
18 years old, and we did that first record, I Love You. Thank you, Mr. Willie Valentine, who's still doing his thing. And I just started doing a lot of projects after that. I was on a lot of compilations, artistic compilations, and I was just a recording artist. I didn't want to perform them. I didn't want to do none of that. I just wanted to just be at the studio, record these songs, and get my name out there like that. And
Were you ghostwriting also? Or?
I was also writing songs, ghostwriting. Yep, I was doing all that stuff, just behind the scenes stuff, and I did a lot of features. Naija, who was big freestyle.
Who's
artist.
Got Your Love
Who's
and
Got Your Love?
Baby Now and Forever.
Now and Forever, and she featured me on her album with a song called "Take Me Away." So that was my first duet with the Queen Naija, and then I just started working really hard. Just like I mentioned, I was a studio rat. I was even doing backgrounds for Little Susie. I did backgrounds on her album, so I liked doing that until fast forward to the mid '90s that I left freestyle to just experiment Latin music, and I started doing salsa, and that's when I met Speedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
What inspired you to do the salsa? Was it something that you heard, like growing up? We heard, a lot of when I was young, I hated salsa. Right, I was like, ugh, when you go to Spanish parties as a kid, but then you start listening to them, and it brings back a lot of memories for me with my mom and stuff. Right. So what was the inspiration?
Inspiration was Mark Anthony, to be honest with you. Hence my name, right? George Anthony is not my biological name. It's Jorge Luis. So since I liked Mark Anthony so much, I just applied the Anthony to it, and I took off because Mark Anthony was not singing freestyle. He was singing salsa, and I would go see him at side streets in the Bronx.
Damn.
Well, he did. What's the rhythm of the?
No.
That was after.
Mark's
Before.
first inclusion into freestyle was he wrote "Boy I've Been Told" for Sapphire. That's where I first met Mark.
Okay.
Dropping gems.
Shout out to Sapphire.
Yeah, he wrote "Boy I've Been Told," and then he came out. When he became Mark Anthony.
What was the song he did with Louis? Was it rhythm?
Ride on the Rhythm.
Ride on the rhythm.
I'm gonna ride on the rhythm. All right. But
Mark Anthony got paid for it.
but it's funny you talk about that album. He did a remake, and people don't realize, of Name of the Game that was incredible. Him and Louis did a remake of Name of the Game by Dan Hartman that was out of this world, man.
Yeah.
You think he would ever come back? Like try to do? No.
There's no reason
Right.
to. At the end of the day, he's conquered. Salsa, and when he started singing salsa, it was, for me, I love romantic stuff. So that's the type of salsa that he was doing. It was that style. It was romantic, and that's what attracted me to doing my own.
Your
salsa
album was
stuff.
called Ayer. Right?
Ayer.
Ayer.
Yep, and it came out in Jelly Beans record label at the time in 1998. Hola,
yeah.
Home of Latin artists.
Yeah.
And it was me, Proyecto Uno, and a beautiful
Angel from the
R&B
Cover Girls,
Latin.
too.
Angel was doing Toro Mata.
Dora Matai, right?
Toro. Yep, and Veronica, who did R&B. We were all Latin artists, different genres, and it was good while it lasted, to be honest. But I was able to fulfill one of my dreams, and that was to record my own salsa album in 1998. And unfortunately, it was short-lived. The record label, went through its things, and then it just stopped. So I went back to being a family man, I went back to school and got a
I
degree.
gotta go back to the real world.
Yeah, I gotta get back. I gotta start making money.
There you
You
go.
know, and that was it. You know, I took a huge hiatus.
Right.
You know, lapse and before I decided to come back to it, like 15 years, and I said, you know what? Let me go back to what made me fall in love with music, and that was for freestyle.
Go back to
And,
the roots.
Yeah, and now that you know, I made a little name for myself with the music that I love so much. I think I'm gonna slowly be transitioning back into the Latin world too. You know, so
You know,
that's what's going on.
George has, to me, one of the biggest singles that I heard was the duet with Cynthia, which is an incredible duet. You know, and I tell this to everybody. You know, there's so many records that are getting lost because of the fact that and we talked about this on the way home,
Right.
on the way here, that no major radio station has picked up one record. I think if they pick up one record, it's going to open the doors for everybody, and I think it's going to be another boom, another boom in radio, like when Hot 103 came out. You know, Glenn Fisher was playing all these records. Nobody had heard of the genre.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just think radio needs to take a chance again.
I have a question. Freestyle's a loyal fan base. I mean, they're a loyal fan base, right?
Loyal to the heart.
Loyal to the core. And so why is that? The music, like these radio executives and stuff, like, or why doesn't anyone start? I mean, Sal's been in it a long time.
That's
why
a
wouldn't
great
somebody
question
like,
for Mr. Radio
like,
Man here.
you know?
It's like, you know what, man?
Yeah, why don't you play it on your station?
I'm on my
You know, the
podcast.
program?
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. Plus, you know what?
Is it loyal overseas, like Europe and stuff like that? Because I know in the States it's loyal.
Brazil is
huge.
really
Oh,
huge.
freestyle.
There's a couple of and around the states, Texas is big.
Texas.
Chicago is big.
Chicago.
Miami, San
Right, in the
Francisco.
States, I get. I'm saying, but like you know, like house music, right? Like Kenny and Louis and all these guys.
Yeah,
they
but
go
that-
to
then-
Amsterdam, you know, all these
Oh,
other places.
that's
Is freestyle big over there?
No, not as
It's
big
more in
as
the
the
States.
EDM house. No,
No.
Because once I feel that freestyle radio stopped playing it, you know, that was it for the genre. So I guess the new music that we're putting out now is just like we have that little glimpse of hope
Right.
that a miracle happens. I guess
Right.
that a radio exec says, you know what, let's give this music a chance.
Well,
You know what I mean?
last year KTU we did the 25 Euphoria, KTU Euphoria, and they did a freestyle
Okay.
segment.
Right.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like we were saying, Latin hip hop, right? But I mean, Italianos, right? Like all type of people love freestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that, but the core person who listens to freestyle right now is 45 and 50.
Right.
So you as an advertiser on KTU, you're gonna want to come to that young kid who's gonna buy the $100 sneakers, or is gonna buy, and that's what the music they're gonna play to attract that younger audience. To, you know what I mean?
Sure. Okay, but there's like I hear sometimes, and it's crazy. Like Light FM right now, Light FM plays songs that are our era. So
It's
that's
funny
the
you say-
station that could pick up freestyle music.
No, if freestyle is if
If they
freestyle
were
makes a
to
comeback,
attract a
it's
younger-
gonna be in a
younger
specialty show. It's gonna be like when Hot 103
The
came
new
out.
station 94, whatever, right? That new station.
Oh, that's hip hop.
But that's a station that maybe could have a segment of freestyle because they do a lot of classic hip hop.
Right, but again, it's the audience. Number one, it's a totally different audience than you know the R&B audience. The R&B audience is a little different than a freestyle audience. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have, and no disrespect, we didn't have you know, black colored artists that did records unless it was Jay Williams. There was a couple artists, but it wasn't like that they would come. You know what I mean? There wasn't a real audience for them. It was just basically the Latinos and the Italians and the Greeks and all that. You know, yeah, you had one or two here. You know, Marshall Jones, I Burn was another artist that was Afro-American. You know, but again, there wasn't that big record that, like an OPP, that crossed over. That's
Right.
the word I'm trying to say. Crossover, a big record that crossed over like OPP. You go to a Puerto Rican party, or you go to you down with yeah.
Yeah.
They know the song.
Right.
Right.
No, I get it. I get it.
You know, but if freestyle was to make a comeback, which I'm praying it does, it's going to be in a specialty show.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I thought salsa was dying, right? And then people said, "No, you're wrong." Right? I always thought salsa
it was
like
dead
a dying
for a
breed,
little
right?
bit, but now it's picking up
So
again.
freestyle has that same opportunity if the younger
We need to get a younger
audience
fan
and
base.
fan base
Well,
and,
You
and
know,
artists
because we have
maybe younger
dedicated-
artists.
And you're right about the age ranges. And I perform in front of all of them. And I'm not saying, I think 40s is a new 20, to be honest with
Right.
you, because everyone that goes to these shows, they look amazing.
They do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, I've been lucky enough to do songs with George Lamont, that, the vinyl that I gave you, now that it's over. And that's how it started, and that only motivated me to continue doing, more quality freestyle music.
Right.
And shout out to Jay Adams, the producer, who produced, my album and has produced You Should Have Told Me with Cynthia and all that stuff. So,
You hit a key word. The key word, quality.
yeah.
Quality. When
Absolutely.
freestyle was at its peak, you had all these, and no disrespect, and whoever takes it the way it takes it, take it the way you take it. But you had all these cheeseball producers making cheeseball records, and then oversaturated. Then they oversaturated the whole thing, and then the great records were getting lost because these cheeseballs were putting 3, 4, 5 records at one time.
And I think that's what happened to the genre.
Yeah.
That's why they lost respect for it.
Right.
Because of the corny stuff that was coming out that was being categorized as freestyle
Right.
music.
So,
So,
every artist thought,
Oversaturation.
right?
So-
Every artist thought they could go in there in the studio and do a
Yeah.
freestyle record. Here we go.
yeah, and it looks more comical
It does.
than professional and respectable.
Now you said you was ghostwriting and write. Like, how long does it take you to write something? Like,
Sometimes 2 minutes, sometimes a couple of hours, or maybe a couple of days, depending. But you should have told me a song that Speedy says he mentioned it and that he likes it, and it's true. I wrote that song during COVID, and I remember just being locked down in the house, and Jay Allen sent me an instrumental, and it just came to me, and I said, "Listen, I have a chorus. I'm gonna send you the vocals like from my house, because thank God that we're able to do things over the internet and
Right.
stuff." So I sent it to him, and we put it out as a single first by myself, and then I would always send my songs to George Lamont and Cynthia, say, "Hey, what do you think about this song?" But Cynthia's response was a little different this time. She says, I want to jump on it, and I was like, "Excuse me, what did you just say?"
yeah, like what?
She says, "George is a no-brainer." Like,
Right.
okay, so I flew her in during the COVID, that COVID time that things were getting crazy, and then we had a video all set up, but just COVID hit heavy,
Right.
and then we weren't able to do it, but. The fact that she jumped on it, it did catapult.
What was
the
Cynthia's
song.
other responses before that?
No, it was
Hell
like that.
no. No, I'm
No,
just kidding.
she would actually support the music that I was doing.
I mean, those are two great
Yeah.
people to get advice, right? Like,
Absolutely.
Cynthia and George Lamont.
If I'm
I
gonna
mean,
get
that's-
any advice,
yeah.
it's from the GOAT,
Yeah.
the voice of freestyle, George Lamont, and the Dream Girl Cynthia, because
That's
both
Mount
their work
Rushmore
ethic,
of freestyle,
yeah,
probably, right?
their work ethic is crazy. Look at Cynthia. I think sleeping is optional for her, and I kind of like apply that to myself, because sometimes I'm like, if I'm sleeping, I'm not gonna be able to get
Right.
things done. You know
Right.
what I mean? So we have a lot of things in common when it comes to that.
Let me ask you this, George. Do you ever wake up like in the middle of the night, como que something like a rhythm or something goes in your mind, and you're like,
yeah.
I gotta do it now because if
Yep.
not, I'm gonna forget.
Yep.
Do you write it down or do you?
I have a voice memo.
Gotcha.
Oh, do you?
And I thought I was I watched a Netflix series of this artist Capaldi. His name is Capaldi, and he does that when he thinks of something, he puts it in a voice memo. And one of his biggest songs was like a combination of all his voice memos, and he made it into one song, and it became like this worldwide smash. But I mean, I hope that happens to me one day. But that's exactly
You
what
put
I
it to
do.
the universe. It's there. It's coming. Bro.
I do a lot of recording when I just say I'll remember in the morning, because you're not.
Right.
I record them, and when I wake up in the morning, I just continue.
You're a good-looking guy like Speedy and myself. You ever thought of acting? You ever consider acting?
Believe it or not, my mom thought that I was going to be in novelas when I was a teenager. And me and my brother were going to be in novelas. And my friends from the projects thought that we were like child actors, you know, but we weren't. We just, my parents brought us up.
You got a stunt double with your brother.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have worked out perfectly. Yeah, we would have been milking it, but we didn't think that way. I don't know if that ever
did that intrigue you?
Itself.
Does it intrigue you to acting?
Yeah,
or?
because sometimes I watch movies. I'm like, I could do that, or I can act better than this person.
That guy, right?
Yeah, but probably 20 years ago, I didn't have that confidence.
Right.
But now I'm like, damn, I could do that.
I mean, on stage is right.
Yeah.
That's an
It's
act.
almost like
I believe that's an act, right?
Listen, man. When I'm on the radio, I'm acting because you know I'm not the same jackass when I'm outside the studio.
I can't confirm or deny that, but
anyway. You know what I mean. It's a character you develop.
Yeah.
And
Noel and Speedy are two different guys.
Right, completely. You know that. You know, Noel can't talk to a female. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just like the. But one time in my Speedy character, I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
Yeah.
You want to go hang out? You want to do
Speedy
this?
got balls, huh?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's the same thing when he's on stage. Yeah. He's a totally different person than when he's playing softball.
Yeah, you gotta be, but as long as you remain, you know, you gotta keep that humility, you know, no matter what you're doing, whether you're acting or not. So that plays a role as well. Staying humble.
You know what? It is, man. You gotta stay. You really no. Honestly, that George.
I know you're working on your upper left hook and all that stuff, but no, come on, stay humble.
No, but George knows that there's artists that I've worked with, the Biggies. I've worked with the Fat Joes. I've worked, and some of these guys are the most humblest guys there is. But people don't get to know that because people get to know the George Anthony or the Fat Joe that they hear on the record or on the radio. I'm gonna give you the best example. How many years I worked with Flex? Over 12 years, Sonny, when you first met me? 12, 13 years?
At least 12.
Right. Aston Taylor is totally different than Funkmaster Flex.
Yeah.
Completely. You know, a boom, bang, 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 bang. Yeah. No. He's like, yo, what's up? How you been? You know? Mm-hmm. And it's like everything. You try to your audience, show them one part, and then when you go home, you're back to normal. Floyd Mayweather is the best example of that, Sully. He told me, the more I am an asshole, the more tickets I'm going to sell, and the more people want to see me get my head knocked out.
Right.
But doing an interview, the biggest gentleman there was, took me around the gym, whatever, nice guy.
Yeah, drama sells, but in certain things, not in everything, though. In boxing, that does sell. When you're in that beef.
Yes. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is people don't realize that there's two characters to you. You're the George Anthony on stage, and then there's the George Anthony that's home.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, some people don't turn off. There's some people that just turned up all day. This is them, and you know they don't change. But yeah, I believe that you switch it up when the lights are on. It's
you
time
do.
To go and,
I've seen people that talk to you in a third sense. Oh, Speedy wouldn't do that. Fuck you! Who the hell you think you're talking to me on a third?
What's
as a third person?
What's the funny, like? What has ever happened that you were like you know, panties thrown at you, like anything on stage that you were just like, wow.
I've had all that, but that not in freestyle. Mm-hmm. Definitely in the salsa, it was a little crazy. You know, I was single when I was doing salsa.
Wepa,
I was in Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. And it was my first performance there. It was like, it felt like there was 4,000 people there. Nas was there. They had their own table in VIP. And I just turned to my musical director. I was like, we're playing More Money, More Problems, you know. And they did it, like in salsa format. Right. And nice. I gave them a shout out. They saluted me, and I just did that show. So they had a ramp. I don't even know why they had a ramp that day. I had a ramp going up to stage with two dancers next to me. Next thing you know, I get grabbed by this girl, and she just had her tongue down my throat. I'm like, oh, so that's the craziest thing that's ever happened
right,
to me.
Speedy? That's awful.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was like, where has this girl's mouth been?
Yeah. And Speedy was just like in the other corner over there.
No, dude.
Speedy was like this.
No, it's not Noel.
It's not Noel. No, I've had women, you know, wait for me outside the parking lot of the radio show and leave flowers on top of the car.
Wow.
And like, whoa. That's when it gets a little scary. That shit gets a little scary. At 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning,
flowers?
you into the parking lot and you see some with flowers. No, hell no. Hell
Maybe it was
no.
the ladies just selling them in the bathroom or something.
Parking
She
lot
just had some
No.
left over.
No, but George got to have some stories that are
Yeah,
incredible.
no, some stories I can't.
You can't tell.
Tell on the air, huh?
Yeah. I've been married 23 years. I want to.
And let's keep it
I
that
want
way.
to keep it going.
You got any advice for any upcoming artists? What would you tell them? And what's the best advice you got from someone?
The best advice that I got was never quit, which is the most. I know it sounds cliche, but it's really like never quit. Always, if whatever you put your mind to, that's just you're gonna accomplish it. Just don't lack that confidence. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be people out there they're gonna discourage you. Just don't listen to those people. That's what I've been told.
Right.
People that are there telling you, nah, man, don't try it. As a matter of fact, that should be telling you to keep on doing it. So pretty much just continue doing, don't quit, and that's pretty much like the most simplest way of putting anything in life, all aspects of life. Just don't quit.
And give it time.
Yeah.
Give
And
it
be
time.
patient.
Be patient
Be
because
patient.
everybody
100%.
thinks it's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
At that moment. Oh, the first record I do, I'm gonna be a superstar. No, it don't work like that, man. You gotta pay your dues.
Yeah. You gotta put the work in.
Yeah, Sally. I was giving
and
out
patience.
flyers in front of a club. I was working sometimes 80 hours for free when I was an intern at Hot. And do you get frustrated? Hell yeah, you do. Do you cry sometimes? Hell yeah, you do. But you just gotta keep pushing that one door is gonna open. That one door.
That's all you need.
Yeah, at one shot. Once you hit that one shot, you're good.
Yeah.
I think us, like, especially as Latinos, we always kind of like, you get them family members that discouraging us, like, ay, vete busca un trabajo, pendejo.
Sally, you
know?
hit it so much right on the dot because that's the problem with Latino, and especially like, and no, I'm Puerto Rican and I'm from Manatí, but a lot of Puerto Ricans do that. Like, ay, mijo, que tú vas a gastar tiempo en esa mierda. Vete llena un trabajo para sanidad o policía o algo que tiene futuro.
And then once you blow up, they're like, I told you.
Yeah.
I was with you all along. Yo lo sabía.
Yo sabía que te iba a ser un cantante, puñeta.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong. Listen, take them police tests, take all those tests, sanitation, but follow your dream. Try to go for your dream.
And that's pretty much what I did, Sally. And I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
it's good.
I went back to school after the whole all our recordings, record label folded, and I got my bachelor's degree. I have my own construction company because I
Nice.
knew that if I wanted to do music again, I needed something to fall back
Right.
on. So that's pretty much why I set up my
And
future.
you also created a financial stability where you can do
100%.
what you do as
Yes.
I would not say a hobby, right? Because you have your main bread and butter, but you could also put that money into yourself and your investment.
And this was a long conversation that I had with my wife. She says, you could do music. It's just got to be worth it because she was there when I wasn't getting paid anything.
Right.
I will go places on my dime just to get my name out there. And that's what Speedy means. Like you need to get your nose wet. And sometimes you got to sacrifice your own money
Hell yeah.
to be in these shows. So I did that for so many years. But now, fast forward, I'm 50 years old. And now there isn't a show that I do that I don't get paid. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's just how it has to be. You can't think that the minute you put out a record, promoters are going to be calling you and paying you right away. That's not going to happen.
No, then you show up to a club with an entourage like you're a superstar and this. Easy, cowboy, easy.
And especially, like you said, the radio stations don't back the genre. So now now you got that up against you, right?
Yeah.
You got to, all right, we stream it, we could do certain things that way and try to, which is the new way to make money, right? So
it is, but to me, the powerful source of media is still always going to be radio. I don't care. It's the most powerful source of media no matter what because what is the first thing you do, Sally, in the morning when you get in the car? Oh, I'm gonna go to this channel. No, you don't. You just turn on the radio because you want to hear the news or whatever. So it's always gonna be that.
Yeah, those antennas and all that stuff. Yeah, you listen to your radios, but I mean I do a lot of online stuff also. So I mean it's just we got to move into the new world, as they say.
Yeah, but the 40 and 50-year-old still, there's a lot of people that still don't know what the hell's the internet or how to download a song or.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's reality.
No, for sure. We definitely technology has passed a few of us by.
Oh
right?
hell yeah! I'll be the first one to admit it.
So I mean, I'm in that same boat too. There's a lot of stuff I don't really do, but there's some stuff that if you want to hear certain things or you got to get it with the times, right?
Yeah.
As they say.
You gotta train yourself and all that stuff. Like I'm looking at this setup. I'm in awe because this is something that I'm looking to get into the podcast, and just to see how it's all set up. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my man Josh Wilcox,
Yes,
Brooklyn
sir.
Podcasting Studio.
Yeah.
For all your studio needs.
I tell him all the time, it's the best studio that
Lambong, that's why.
I always tell him I always enjoy myself in the studio, man. It's well professionally done. Everything's
Yeah,
It's nice,
Josh
man.
is a good dude. Definitely somebody. If anybody's looking to do some,
Yeah.
studio stuff.
I want to invite you. Come with me and George on the freestyle cruise.
Hey.
You should.
Come on down, man.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
When is it?
I went
next year,
this
right? That's,
last one, and shout outs to Dom G. I
Dom
know,
G, my guy.
Yeah, he's your boy, and he has his podcast. There Goes the Neighborhood and
Yes,
all
sir.
that stuff. And
Good people, Dom G.
really
Amazing
amazing.
dude. So
amazing.
the cruise is February 19th through the 25th of
That's right.
2024.
Next year, right?
2024.
Yeah.
Nice.
So get your
Yeah.
cabins because I think
It's the second
um,
invite I
yeah.
got, right? So
there
third
you
one
go.
I'm in. Somebody invite me one more time, I'm in there. All right.
Yo, man, it's just so much fun because of the fact that guys like George Anthony takes the time to hang out, sit down with them. It becomes like a family.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
it's definitely a different type of environment when you're on a boat. Like it's not like you're performing and leaving.
Right.
You're
You
actually
can't
performing
leave.
and you're hanging out.
Right. It's
So
like Bronx
it's
Tale.
a
Now
lot
you
different.
can't leave.
Yeah.
So you interact with the fans, and the fans love it, because a lot of the times when you're performing in one of these venues, you're not gonna see your fans afterwards.
Right.
And this one, you either see them getting pizza at 4 a.m,
Right.
walking in the pool, So it's definitely a different type of feel.
No, and that goes to the loyalty, right? I think loyalty is both ways. So the
Yes.
artists, you guys are showing loyalty to your fans, and the fans are showing, reciprocating that to you guys.
What can we wait for George Anthony in 2023? What you got coming? What's cooking? What's in the
Absolutely.
lab? What's in the lab? Any
Yep.
collabos?
Yep. And before I forget, the reason why I transitioned from freestyle to salsa was Sal Abatello. He was actually managing me, and we had that meeting with Jelly Bean. So I just want to give a shout out to Sal Abatello, who
The
he made that deal
Godfather.
happen. He made that deal happen, and also thanking him for recent stuff. He put me on a few fever events. One of them being at Ventureland and
In Long Island?
in Long Island.
That's
so
July 29th.
the fans
Okay.
embraced me, and it's just been like
And
kept on growing
and
after
aren't you
that.
doing a show
And,
Memorial Day weekend in Miami or
I'll
Orlando?
be Memorial Day weekend. I'll be in Daytona.
Daytona.
It's a
That's the
married
one.
man, bro.
Yeah.
Don't blow his shit like
No,
man.
no,
I
no.
said that
Daytona
yet.
is the
Like
show.
Miami.
It's a big show.
Why did you mention that? No.
It's a big show over there with TKA, George Anthony, Sapphire.
Yep, and now that we're talking about Sapphire, 2023, as Londinium, the label, which is Kenny Diaz's record label, I have a double release coming out called Bullet to Your Heart, and If This Ain't Love, Sapphire did backgrounds on that, and Kenny Diaz wrote and produced it, so that's what's in store for GA for 2023 for the summertime.
Nice. Give it up for that. Shout out to everybody in the room. The room is popping. We got
Thank you.
everybody in here. Shout out to everybody in there. Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. My man GA giving it up.
Thank you.
What's the hardest lesson you've learned in this business, George?
The hardest lesson, there are so many. Listen, at the end of the day, you got to follow your dreams, right? So it's just like sometimes people are just going to shatter them on the spot is whether you're going to have that strong will to continue. So pretty much the hard lesson is just like, not being where you want to be. Don't get frustrated and stuff like that. So those are the only lessons for me that, the frustration, I don't let it get the best of me. And that's the only lesson that I guess has been presented to me as far as being an artist in this genre.
So you met George during the salsa days, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I met George during his hiatus, and
That's right.
you know,
I didn't want to do music.
yeah, he didn't want to do music.
That's when he was with
And-
the Tainos?
Yes,
That's right.
He was with the Tainos,
Yep.
and you know, like it's funny that you said about the people because you're always been a nice dude, like always been like, oh, you know, you ever meet somebody like, damn, that guy's too nice, like I don't know, like you know, but he's really been a nice dude always, and I appreciate you, you know, thank you for coming on.
No, bro.
But
Thank you.
yeah, I met him in the softball world, and he got his little taste of that softball world, and he's, you know, it wasn't a good, you know.
He was a competitor, though.
I
He
was-
wasn't
they had
a nice
great
guy.
teams. They had great teams.
He
Yeah,
wasn't. He
absolutely.
wasn't that nice guy when he was on the field. He was a little
Oh,
chirpy.
you know what? See, I never got that part of it. I just knew you had the team, but I never really was.
Well, one
So
time.
you're like Dio a little bit. Dio's like that.
Oh,
too.
Dio's
Dio from
crazy. I
Highlanders.
grew up with Dio.
Yeah.
He's like
So-
my mother called him the third twin.
Okay.
He had a team called the Highlanders,
Right.
and I kind of like took a little like I always study people,
right.
and I loved Dio Jackson's
Mm-hmm.
style of coaching softball team. He was he knew how to get under people's skin.
Yes.
And I took a little bit of
Yeah, you
that,
did.
not everything, because
You're like,
Dio.
yo, I want somebody touching his face.
Yeah, no, it's not even that. It was just like Dio would say some things that I'm like, oh my God, they're about to kick his ass.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I took a little bit of that, and I incorporated a lot of the stuff because the Tainos belong to my brother, Juan. He did Taino since 1997, and I was just bored, and I still loved softball. I still was able to play and stuff like that, and I put a nice group of guys together and formed, you know, like a household name of the softball world, the Tainos. I try to go to Lindsay, go into tournaments
Right.
and stuff like that, and then we faced you. We stayed dirty in Randall's
Oh
Island.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I
And,
did face you. That's right. We did.
And unfortunately, Mario didn't listen to me. And I said, walk him 4 balls. He says, no, I want to pitch to D-Boy. I said, walk him 4. He pitched to D-Boy. D-Boy hit it up. He shot the middle. We Stay Dirty comes and beats Tainos in the championship.
And
so.
takes it down.
Exactly. We Stay Dirty
Yeah.
champions. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I learned my lesson there the hard
Yeah,
way.
I forgot about Randall's Island. I
Yeah,
totally forgot
Randall's
about that. Yeah, that
Island.
was good. That was a
Yeah,
fun.
it was dope. And then
Yeah.
the second time I saw Sally, and it's gonna be crazy. He's gonna remember, but I'm over here on the bench. I think it was I don't know if it was the 29ers or I know Drew was playing, so I went to see Drew because Drew was working for me at the time. So I went to Lindsay, checked it out, and I see Sally arguing with somebody, and then I see Sally throw hands. I'm like, okay. I'm not getting nowhere near, and I know you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
know you're not proud of it,
Yeah.
but I was just like, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
messing with that
not
guy.
one of my
Sally.
best moments, brother. I try to talk.
Well,
I try to talk people out of it, that situation,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, you know, they didn't.
You had a few of those in your
Okay.
career, but we're not going to talk about those.
Okay.
We're talking about that's what instilled the fear
Yeah.
of going up to Sally. Hey, how you doing? I'm George from Tainos. That happened way after I
Nah,
saw that,
I'm,
but I
I'm
know
a good dude, man, and
you
I
are.
always
You are, bro.
try to talk people out of those situations.
I know
'Cause
you
know
have.
me, and I know what I am capable of. So I always try to be like, yo, you know, nah, chill out.
Yeah.
But
No, I
it,
know, man.
unfortunately, it
I just thought
happened.
I mentioned that because
Yeah.
that was one of the first
Yeah, no, yeah,
times
yeah.
I met you, and I was like, oh man, don't get on this guy's bad side.
So, my friend said he's coming back to salsa, right, Mr. Anthony? Is
That's-
there anything out there we can listen to salsa-wise?
Actually, it's still on iTunes, but as Jorge Luis. That's how I put it out. My biological name is still on iTunes. Jorge Luis Ayer, the album, and you can listen to 8, I think, decent salsa songs, you know, out there. But I think I want to go back into the studio and redo them, just because you know, I want to own my stuff. I want to own the masters to
Right.
it, and my voice has changed since 1998 to now. You know, so I think I want to redo my album, and I actually have a song out by the ballad with this artist named Fralis Joel is on iTunes, a song called Bendita. I featured on his album, so anyone who can go to iTunes and just type in Bendita, I featured on that gentleman's album. So I'm slowly transitioning into the Latin because you know, it's just something that I feel I have the capability of doing, and I think I could do it well, you know, if I get back into it. So let's see.
Yeah, I like I said, I got into salsa years later. You know, learned dancing, the women. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. So I mean, to me, I think salsa needs that. It'll be a good push if someone like you, younger generation, and
I appreciate that.
What, besides Mark Anthony, what's your favorite salsa artist?
Well, Victor Manuel. I remember I did the salsa when we were all on the come up. Earl Obi Bermudez.
Oh wow.
Michael Stewart, Frankie Negron, Kevin Ceballo. That was the group.
That was your team.
That was That was the new generation of salsa at the time. So I love all their music, and look at Obi Bermudez now. He's a Grammy award-winning artist and stuff, and I do keep in contact with him. So just seeing what he's still doing, just motivates me even more to even.
Easier to write salsa or freestyle?
It's easier for me to write salsa.
But it's so similar because you mentioned Asia before. Who's Got Your Love? It's originally in Spanish, un bolero de trío.
That's right.
¿Quién tiene tu amor?
Yeah.
¿Quién tiene tu amor? Ahora que yo no lo tengo.
That's right.
So Who's Got Your Love is right. So that's why I've always said that salsa has always been connected to freestyle because of the fact that it's a lot of love songs, a lot of,
And I think I heard that from somebody one time. They said, we heard your album. It sounds like freestyle, but salsa.
Right.
And because, I do incorporate what I'm used to, and that's, I love freestyle so much that my melodies, always go that direction when I'm writing. But yeah, people, I was told that once that my salsa has a little freestyle melody side to it.
If you had a cover to do, what would be the cover song you would want to do?
I mean, for this album, I did All Cried Out, but I think Lisa's All Cried Out. I did it in Spanglish. It's called Llorando Estoy. It's on the 1998 album. But yeah, that was one of the biggest covers that I wanted to do, and I did it. It took a long time to get that licensing from who?
Sony.
Yeah, no, the writers. What? Is it Full Force?
Full Force.
Full Force. Yeah, they gave me a hard time, but they said, yeah, sure, you could do the song, but you're not getting 1% from it. We're getting all 100. I said, no problem. I just want to do the song, So, but yeah, that happened. But if I were to do another cover, that's hard. I did mention it one time to Sapphire that there was a song, Never Gonna Give You Up.
Rick Astley. That's Rick Astley.
Never gonna turn on. And salsa, I think I would do that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, Rick Astley, who was actually came back this year after a hiatus of over 15 years, came on tour with a tour with a Young MC and a couple of other artists.
You have other songs in that one?
Wow. Rick Astley?
Yeah.
Together Forever.
Together
Forever, and he got a few records.
Oh yeah.
Was there anyone you ever worked with that you were excited to work with, and then they disappointed the hell out of you? Like, damn, this person's.
I haven't experienced that because if you think about it.
Or vice versa, you were like, and then when you work with them, you're like, oh, they're cool.
Nah, I haven't had that experience. Thank God. Like Naija was the first one I did a duet with, and that was like a dream come true. And that's funny how that duet happened. It was around 1992, 93. I was in Mickey Garcia's house in New Jersey, and it was a house party, and Matt Fascini was there. He's the one who wrote Laura Ania's "This Is the Last Time You Break My Heart," and he wrote "Take Me Away."
Matt
Fascini.
Matt Fascini.
And I fell asleep in the basement studio of Mickey Garcia's house. I woke up. I was like, "Where the hell am I?" And he says, "Yo, you didn't go home?" I was like, "No." He says, "Well, he sparked up the board, and next thing you know, I'm singing on a song with Naija called 'Take Me Away.'" So, like I said, I was always at the right place at the right time, and that was a dream come true. We performed that around that time a lot, and then fast forward to 2019 when I showed George Lamont a song that I wrote called "Now That It's Over." I was gonna put that out as a single, but I just wasn't feeling it by myself. But once this man got on the track, he did 80 tracks of just George Lamont vocals, and Jay Adams pieced it together, and it worked. And another dream come true. And then fast forward to 2020, doing the "You Should Have Told Me" with Dream Girl Cynthia. So I've been lucky, man. I've been blessed, man.
Did you go to the 1018 reunion? Did either one of you guys go?
No,
to
I went.
I
I was booked in Terrytown,
Okay.
Okay.
All the way up there. I was doing the show with
We saw
Tonasia,
you. We
right?
bumped into you in the diner
Right.
afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, I was singing backgrounds for those. Shout out to George Lamont. I do backgrounds for him as well. So I'm not only I'm an artist, solo artist. I do backgrounds for George Lamont, the big venues like Radio City, and I do backgrounds for him. So shout out to George Lamont for that opportunity as well.
Cool. And the party was good? It was a good party?
Oh, the 1018 party.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really, really nice, well put together, and it just brought us back. Lydia Lee Love, one of my favorite artists.
Sunset Park, right?
Yeah, don't
Lydia
take
Lee
your
Love.
love away.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, it was dope. I had a great time.
Now, I'm gonna put you on a spot.
Sure.
I'm gonna put you on a spot right now.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
If you got to pick 5 freestyle songs, which ones would it be for you?
Does it classics?
Any order or?
The ones that I love. George Lamont's number 1, Without You, because I played Without You till the vinyl was like I couldn't even play it anymore. Without You. Yep. And then I'm gonna another George Lamont, Bad of the Heart. So Without You, Bad of the Heart. Those were my top 2. And then of course Sweet Sensation.
Oh wow.
I'll never let you go.
Betty D.
Yeah. And then Eileen Flores.
I have dreams about you every night.
Yep. And then my 5th one would be.
Wow, that's a different choice, Eileen Flores. Wow.
Because it's so underground, you got to give underground props.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the 5th one will probably be. That's a tough one. And I know no one's gonna know it. It's Sergio. I used to play that a lot.
Sergio, yeah.
Oh no, I miss you, Santa Lee. 2 underground songs I like.
Yeah,
So,
Sergio. He was from Long Island.
Yeah, and if I was to do 10, there'll be some Sapphire songs. And like, boy, I've been told, and one day I am gonna make it. Yep. So if I had a top 10, Sapphire would definitely be on that list.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, since you want to put people on the hot seat. Shout out to everybody in the room. If you're on my page, the Set Song page, slide over to the Set 6145 page on Facebook, please, because I'm not seeing see you guys replying on my page, but I came to the Set 6145 page. It's popping.
It's probably, I gotta say, Maria. You'll Never Find Another Love, and more.
Good one.
Change on Me.
Cynthia.
Niobe, Please Don't Go.
Please Don't Go. That's and probably Suave, Crying Over You, because
100%.
and I say those records because they were so huge on the radio. I'll never forget this, Sally. When I used to do the phones at Hot, you would get guys calling me at 3 a.m. crying. Yo, play Crying Over You. I left the club and she left with another dude. Play that for me. So, that was one of the most...
You guys never played it? Did
What?
you play it on Hot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crying Over You, that was one of the biggest...
one of
that record had to be number 1 for like 3 or 4 months straight.
Really? Wow.
Oh, every Guido and every Puerto Rican that broke up with his girl
With the IROC Z?
with the IROC Z and the Joey Boy on the back of the license plate or something.
And the Suzu Rodeo.
Well, yeah, and the Cabaricis and the slip-on white sneakers.
Going way
So-
back.
On Knicks. I see you with the Knicks hat on. Are we winning tonight or it's over?
I mean, I think we're going to win tonight. You know?
Goes back to Miami?
Yeah.
They look like they did a lot of partying.
I
Man. They
just-
look like they want to play ball.
I know.
I
That's
just
how
hope
they looked.
this clown doesn't become Charles Smith number 2. Julius Randle doesn't become Charles Smith number 2 and decide he can't put up a shot or hit a shot like Charles Smith did.
I have a feeling they're going to win tonight. I mean, Miami's doing their thing, obviously, but yeah, you got to be hopeful. We were talking about it earlier, Josh and I, how, we go back from the era where the Patrick Ewing era and where our hearts are always breaking every year.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of used to it, but we're praying for a miracle.
Yeah, we're blue collar New Yorkers. I'm sorry, guys. We on YouTube also. Their YouTube channel. I'm sorry.
right.
I was just talking to Facebook people. They want to switch over. If you're on YouTube, you're more than welcome to stay there. And Karen said you had a members only jacket, pa. You
Oh hell
got
yeah!
one?
Oh hell
You
yeah!
still
guys.
got one?
I got no problem. Listen, man, I was the sheepskin. I had my gray and black sheepskin. I had my leather bomber with my name buckle on the side of it.
Wow.
How many times you got robbed?
None. Because
No?
everybody always looked out for me. Since
Okay.
I was, all the fellas always looked out for me. You know, always had the Nitos.
Noelito.
Yeah, I always had the Nitos, and I had all those
Oh,
guys
okay.
always around me.
I
So
was lucky.
Yeah,
like
you had
that
the
too.
big goons.
the big
Chino
goons,
and Nito.
yeah, and all these guys were always
Okay.
around me. So then I had the goose with the hoodie on too. So I had all three of them.
Right.
And then every color of Pumas with the pinstripe leaves.
Okay.
Wow.
With like sewn in creases.
Did
Yeah,
they
man.
Did they ever steal the Lee patch from your pants?
Yes.
Definitely got ripped. Definitely got ripped.
Wedgie style.
They were like that walking by. Your boys ain't around right
Speedy
now.
up in the air.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Some of those styles we used to wear. You remember the Taylors with cow skin on them?
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. I look at them like, what the fuck were we wearing?
I mean, but we look at the people now. What are they wearing, right? So I mean, they
They're
could look at
wearing
us too.
vintage stuff. Yeah, a lot of the younger generation too, they think that these songs from the 80s are like new songs. Like, no, that was my era.
Yeah, a
You
lot of these
know?
songs on the radio, and
Yeah.
they're like, bro, that's like two people did that
80s
song
and
already.
90s. Yep, like that song was out in the 90s. I was all that
Yeah.
TLC. That's my era.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think it's all
But
good.
George, man, thank you for giving it up. I appreciate you coming down.
Thank you. For
Please
having
give
me,
everyone your socials. You let them know where they can find you
Yes, sir.
and the up and coming shows, whatever you got going on. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sally, so much. Speedy, always a pleasure. You already know my brother. Thank you. But you can find me on George Anthony Music on Facebook, George Anthony Music on Instagram. You can also check my website out, georgeanthonymusic.com. It has all my shows on there. Thank you, Faith Vogel. That's my moderator, my sister. I don't know what I would do without her. She keeps my website, on and popping for everyone, and you can get all your freestyle merch on there, from bathing suits to gym stuff to hoodies to duffel bags, slides. So thank you, Faith, so much. I love you. So GeorgeAnthonyMusic.com.
And if you haven't seen George Anthony perform, and if he comes to a town near you, you got to go see George Anthony
Thank you.
perform, mi gente. You have to see him, because it's an incredible show. Check him out.
Yep. I learned little by little, and thank you so much for the compliment, sweetie. I appreciate you.
Well, keep grinding, my brother.
Thank you.
You definitely, keep doing your thing, and the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? We keep pushing. And again, thank you for coming through. Everybody, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, The Set 6145 on YouTube and on Facebook. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Please have a great Mother's Day. You ladies are the best.
That's
And
Feliz
get-
Dia de la Madre. Toda esa madre linda.
I love you,
Mwah.
La Jefa, Jolmaris, Leon. I love you. Papi will be home later.
Good night, y'all.